All right, let's call to order the RTC meeting for May 17th with a roll call.
Excuse me. Tracy Larkin Thomason. Here. Devin Reese.
Here.
Alexis Hill.
Here.
Ed Lawson.
Here.
Bill Thomas.
Here.
Mari Luz Garcia.
Here.
Adam Spear.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
I can't get the top off of that pen. Thank you. I'd see I'd have the muscles do it for me. Okay, let's move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Paul Nelson, will you lead us? Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Special recognition, National Public Works Week proclamation. Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you all know, many of the members of RTC and also of your own staffs are part of the Public Works workforce that does so much for our community. So today, we wanted to acknowledge National Public Works Week with a proclamation, which I will read. And also, we have John Lau here from the APWA, and he's the Nevada chapter treasurer. So thank you, John, for participating. So let me go ahead and read this on behalf of the board. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high-quality life, and well-being of the people of Washoe County, Nevada, and whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Washoe County, Nevada, to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest in and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association, be it now, on behalf of the chair, resolved, Ed Lawson, chair of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, does hereby designate the week of May 19th through May 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Weeks. We urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contribution they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
Thank you, sir. All right, public comment. Zachary Allen. Followed by Theo Nicholas.
What time do I have?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
You'll get the
okay.
gong and a big hook comes out.
Okay, perfect. So duck carefully then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Director Thomas, board members, my name is Zachary Allen. I own Robert Allen Pools and Spas. I'm on your topic on the agenda today for ZRA Enterprises, which is my land company. For Robert Allen Pools, felt it important that I come and speak with you guys today. That I was able to move some stuff around. Actually, supposed to be down in Yerington at the Boys and Girls Club, getting some work going for them. But give you a little bit of background on my family's company. My dad started it close to 30 years ago. We've been in the same location the whole time. It is the buildings that we're speaking of in your agenda here today. It's near and dear to my heart, this building is, and I know that with public projects, I get to be the casualty of this deal. I understand that. However, I just want to make it known that this is the building that I learned my ABCs on in the back, on a chalkboard in the back room. That's where I learned to ride my bike. I know all these things aren't going to put necessarily a value to the land other than to someone such as myself. With that being said, it is my understanding, and I'm not an attorney, but in reading the Nevada law as of 2007, that an individual such as myself who is going through an eminent domain process here shall be placed in the same monetarily position as if this eminent domain had never happened. Now, I've been very fortunate to find ourselves a new location pretty close by. This new location comes with a nice bank loan, and the bank's loving me right now to where I'm really hoping that we can see a resolution here sooner than later for our project and how it pertains to us and the individuals who work for me, the 20-plus employees. And we're a staple member of this community. More than likely, you've probably swam in one of our swimming pools. If not, maybe your neighbor's got one that we built, to where I hope to continue to provide our services to the community and through Northern Nevada as we have for many years. With that law in how it reads, that I hope that we can come to this resolution in a timely fashion, as it is costing us, tremendous amounts of money. And I didn't wish this upon ourselves again. I know this is all how it works. I understand what it means to you guys in making the decisions upon these things and all the consideration for the public safety, and not in any kind of disagreement upon that projects like this are necessary, and I'm just the casualty of this one. Now, really just appreciate your guys' time and consideration in hearing me here today. That hope to come to a resolution here sooner than later. I'd really like to have seen maybe a meeting with you guys by now. I know that hasn't happened quite yet, but I like to think I'm a pretty fair and reasonable person, and I do lots of deals on handshakes. So that's the kind of individual that I am. And just again, thank you for your time, and appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Theo Nicholas.
Good morning. My name is Theo Nicholas. I'm a Reno resident. I'm here today on behalf of the Washoe County Household Travel Survey. I took the survey back in March of this year, and upon completion of the survey, I was promised a travel card by the surveyor. But to this day, I've never received anything. And I don't know if it's just, miscommunication, but that's my issue.
Okay. We'll have Bill look into it for you.
I have documentation too.
Move it to our clerk, please.
Yeah,
Thank
okay. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in the public? Madam Clerk, we have any,
We received one public comment via email, which was sent to the commissioners and will be made part of the minutes.
thank you very much. All right, let's move on to approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to suggest two changes to the agenda. First, I would like to ask that 5.1 be removed. This item will be brought back to the board in June after it is brought to the CMAC committee, and that procedural step will be taken by our team. So that is the first item. And then second, I would ask that 4.41 be removed from the consent agenda to be considered by the board after 6.3 for the board to receive a report on the Mill Street project before the board is asked to consider 4.41. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that's in the form of a motion.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, let's move on to consent items
Move to approve.
with the changes provided.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Pardon me. 6.1, acknowledge receipt of the 2023 annual report. Who's presenting this?
I actually am presenting it, but it's a video, which is a lot more interesting
Oh,
than
that's
me
an easy
talking.
way out.
Yeah. I wanted to preface this presentation by sharing with the board, this is a practice we've been doing for quite some time. We find it very effective in, getting out to the community, what exactly we accomplished in the past year. I'm very proud of our team and very thankful for the leadership and the support of the board. So with that, I wanted to acknowledge one specific staff member, even though all the staff went into the accomplishments that we've made this year. But Nicole Coots, who actually did the annual report book that each of you have, as well as this video, has done another excellent job this year. So with that, I will ask that the video be played. Thank you. In closing, as I said on that last slide, this is available on our webpage, so people, including yourselves, if you'd like to see your picture again, you can go do that. So very, very proud and hope the board appreciates all that you've helped us accomplish in the past year. And NDOT has helped too. I want to make sure, Tracy, we acknowledge your help and support has really helped us be successful.
Okay. Do we need to do anything with this, Adam?
Mr. Chair, it's at the discretion of the board. I might recommend a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. 6.2, evaluate the executive director's annual performance as it pertains to the duties and obligations of the position and accomplishments of the fiscal year 2024, and consider approval of a compensation adjustment for the executive director's performance that has been satisfactory or better. It didn't say that, but.
That was good. That was good. Good morning, Laura Freed. For the record, I serve as
Your
the...
mic on? I can't hear you.
Did you turn it? Thanks, Michelle.
There we go.
Laura Freed, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here to present Agenda Item 6.2. First, I will detail the process of the evaluation and then the results. As it says in your meeting packet, pursuant to Section 3, Paragraph B of the Board's employment agreement with the Executive Director, as well as RTC Management Policy P01, the Board shall review and rate the Executive Director's performance at least once annually at or near the end of the fiscal year. The performance rating is evaluated against the duties and obligations of the position to include evaluation of the performance of mutually agreed upon goals and objectives. And as you noted, Mr. Chair, a satisfactory or better performance makes the Executive Director eligible for an annual salary increase. Additionally, the Board may award a performance bonus between 0 and 5% of the Executive Director's current base salary that is not an addition to base pay. And both any salary increase and any bonus would be effective on July 1st of 2024. On April 18th, the Executive Director was provided with the notice of public meeting to consider his evaluation pursuant required to 241, NRS 241.033. On April 22nd, staff sent out the evaluation forms to the board members. 3 responses were received. And in addition, prior to today's board meeting, pursuant to Management Policy P01, the board chair met with the Executive Director to discuss his performance. The evaluation form contains 7 categories for board members to score the Executive Director. These categories are management of the organization, execution of policy, financial management, board relations, community relations, leadership, and professionalism. Each category could be scored from 0, which is fails to meet all expectations, to 6, far exceeds all expectations. The scores received from 3 of the 5 board members are as follows: 5.0, 5.0, and 5.71, which averages out to 5.24. A score of 5, it means exceeds all expectations. So with that, I would turn it over to the board for their deliberation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Reese?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of things. One is there's a lot going on at RTC. There's a lot that I still am learning. In the time that I've been on the board, I've seen a tremendous growth in the organization and its commitment and focus to a number of different things. And I think a lot of that I certainly attribute to the excellent staff. But that staff has to have a leader. And so I've found, Mr. Thomas, that you have been great to work with in that capacity. You have made the organizational change that we've asked for over the last several years. We've gone out and done a lot of work on trying to figure out who we are and where we want to head. And I appreciate that because that's not always an easy task to do. All of my evaluation reflects significantly above average and exceeding expectations because you really have exceeded my expectations. I appreciate that. One of the other things that I will mention, and maybe perhaps this is for the benefit of our colleagues here on the dais, is that one of the things that I challenge you to do is to better equip the commissioners to do the work that we do here. It is not, I think, a natural thing for commissioners to know intuitively about the aspects of running a transportation services organization such as this. So there's a lot of learning that has to happen. And in that regard, you have helped me both with on the ground learning. There's often times where I call and a week later your staff has set up for me the opportunity to go out and drive the city streets and see things. If I don't see it, it's very hard for me to learn about it. And so in that regard, it's been very good to work with that kind of model. And then second is the ability that you have made to equip us to learn about it, whether that's going to different kinds of conferences, helping us to learn about the things that we have to do at this body. And again, I attribute that to your leadership. So for me, fantastic year that you've had. I know that there's always personal growth that comes with making some changes, and I appreciate you leaning into that. So, of course, absolutely happy with the work that you're doing, exceeds my expectations beyond all measure, and thankful for your leadership.
Lucille?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I agree with my colleague, Commissioner Reese. I think that this board has changed significantly since you've taken over at RTC, and you and your team have been very flexible to the new priorities of this board, and I really appreciate that. And the challenges that this board have given you to support a really great culture at RTC, and I commend you for that. And I really look forward to seeing how all of that work plays out. And thank you for taking it so seriously. Every thing that I've challenged you and the team to look into, just like Commissioner Reese said, you have been so open to, very responsive, and you really care about this community and public service, and that is to be commended. So thank you for your commitment and dedication, and I'm really excited for the next year because we have a lot of big plans, a lot of them focusing on expanding public transit, which I know you and the team are excited to take on, and doing it in a really data-driven way, and supporting marketing to make sure people know about our public transit, and doing it to market to our diverse community. I really commend you for that, and for all of the projects that we would like to see as a board. So, and investments in our public infrastructure. So, and all the grants that you and the team have taken on with, just so few staff as compared to other agencies. It's pretty incredible. So obviously you have supported that drive and that commitment to the team. So I commend you, and really look forward to, like I said, the next year.
Ms. Garcia, you have anything?
Not to say what my colleagues already say, I agree with both of them. I think to add to the conversation would be that, we have a certain perspective and we see through a certain lens in the areas that we represent, but that's only part of the puzzle for me. And I think the metrics really kind of speak for themselves. And when you look at our numbers for public transit and operations, and you see how many increases we've seen across, our rides and Flex Ride and Access and all of these programs is just incredible. And I actually, when I was watching the film, I was like, wow, it's across the board, and that's something to really to highlight and commend. And then not only that, from my perspective, I think it's one thing to do your job and do this type of work, but also balancing the community outreach and doing so beautifully throughout the year. I just really have enjoyed being on this board, and I am appreciative of your communication and all of the kind of nuanced conversations you have to have with many of us and many members of the community. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're listening and communicating well, and I just appreciate your efforts.
For me, Bill and I have probably known each other for 30 years, back in the private sector days, and I've always appreciated your leadership style. It's not a top-down, it's a collaborative approach, and everybody has a good idea, and you're willing to listen to even the worst ideas and then find a way to make it work out. So for me, working with you more directly for the last couple of years has been great for me. So I couldn't give you a 6 because that would mean you're the top 1% in the country. So, but all 5s. All right.
And Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for including me as the vice chair as part of the review committee. I know that the policy states that Mr. Thomas has to meet with the chairman, but you also included me, and I really appreciate that, to discuss how we want to look at this review and how we want to support Mr. Thomas's contract and salary increase. And my big thing as a commissioner is I don't want to give anything to a leader that the staff can't also attain. And so I know that we also look to our staff, and we're looking at both a comp and class study, which is really exciting. Can't wait for the outcome of that. And thank you for your work on that, Ms. Reed. And also, there's opportunities for the staff, not as part of the annual plan, but that part of the review process to get a salary increase if they do exceed expectations. So thank you so much for asking for what the staff can also obtain. So based on your performance this year, I would make a motion that the board approve an 8% salary increase for the executive director.
Okay, I've got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Lunch is on you.
All right. If I can just, thank you very much. I think the success of this organization really depends on three parties that work well together. And it really starts with, the board's trust and communication, which you've helped me greatly, making clear what your interests are and where I can help you. But I'd also say, from the staff and my perspective, all three of us have passion for this. And I think that's why it reflects in success. Any one part of that, triumvirate of people that need to be involved, including the staff, myself, and the board, if there's not passion, the system fails. So I thank you for your passion and interest in our world.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on to 6.3, acknowledge receipt of the Mill Street Capacity and Safety Project update.
Good morning. Members of the board from,
You needed making, there we go.
thank you. How's that? Okay. Good morning, members of the board. For the record, my name is Kim Deagle. I'm a project manager with RTC, and I'm here to present a project update for the Mill Street Capacity and Safety Project. I'll be going over project goals, design updates, right-of-way updates, schedule, and cost. The limits of this project are from just west of Kitsky Lane to Terminal Way along Mill Street. The need for the project was identified in the 2013 Mill Terminal Corridor Study and the 2050 Regional Transportation Plan. NDOT also worked with RTC to look at the widening of Mill Street in coordination with their design of the Spaghetti Bowl Express improvements. So that also allows us to tie in cleanly with the improvements around I-580. The main goals of this project are to enhance safety and improve traffic operations. The team will also modernize the access control and provide safe routes for pedestrians and cyclists. Here's a view of the overall project corridor. Highlighting some of the existing challenges through this corridor, I took this photo about two weeks ago. This is west of Kitsky Lane, looking west at 5:00 p.m. You can see the amount of congestion that the corridor sees is significant, and delays, and our analysis shows it will continue to get worse. There's poor lane utilization getting to Interstate 80. These queues cause delays at the stop-controlled intersections along Mill Street, including Redwood Place, Golden Lane, Reservation Road, and Louise Street, as through traffic blocks side street movements. There's also a lack of continuity in pedestrian and bicycle facilities in the corridor. Sidewalks don't meet ADA requirements, and existing driveways don't meet the current regional access management guidelines. The corridor faces recurring safety issues for all users. There have been multiple crashes, including fatalities, along this stretch of Mill Street. This map shows where those crashes have occurred, including those involving pedestrians and bicyclists. To address these challenges, the project identified 8 areas of improvement. We are proposing to add a third eastbound lane from west of Kitsky Lane to I-580, which will provide a dedicated lane to the I-580 southbound on-ramp, improving traffic operations. We are modernizing the access management by consolidating side street access from Louise Street and Redwood Place. and improving safety and traffic operations by installing a new signalized intersection at Golden Lane. We're also enhancing safety by creating a right-in, right-out only access at Reservation Road. Moving to the east side of I-580, RTC will match into those road improvements from the SBX project. We're also focusing on safety by limiting the Matley Lane to a right-in, right-out intersection, relocating overhead utilities between Kitsky Lane and Matley Lane, constructing new sidewalks and making the ADA accessible improvements, and providing continuous bike lanes through the corridor. Looking closer at the Golden Lane intersection, we'll be consolidating the access to Mill Street from Louise Street and Redwood Place and aligning the connection to Market Street directly across from Golden Lane. This allows us to install a full signalized intersection here that is safe for drivers entering and exiting Golden Lane, provides them protected left turns, and safer protected crossings for pedestrians. We've also been coordinating closely with local utility companies to underground conflicting overhead utilities as a part of the project. This will include undergrounding many power and communication services to adjacent businesses. This will be the first project in the city of Reno that utilizes NV Energy's underground management plan, which has been implemented successfully in Carson City and in southern Nevada. This allows us to share the cost to place these facilities that conflict with the road improvements and place them underground, which will also enhance safety, alleviate ADA deficiencies, and improve aesthetics. With the project, there are a number of right-of-way acquisitions that are needed, particularly for the road widening and the footprint of the new Golden Lane connection to Market Street. We are well underway in the process, and we have been working closely with the property owners. To date, we have completed about 1/3 of the property acquisitions. A few businesses are being offered relocation assistance, either for the business to fully relocate or to temporarily move some personal property out of the area needed during construction. We've also worked closely with Reno Sparks Indian Colony and received permission to build some of the improvements along the tribal land, particularly in the area of Golden Lane. This is our project timeline. We're just about complete with final design. We are currently focusing our efforts on right-of-way. Once we are closer to construction, RTC will hold a public meeting to discuss the final design and construction schedule. We anticipate construction to begin in early 2025. The current project cost is approximately $32 million, which includes engineering and right-of-way services, acquisition and relocation costs, and construction. You can find more information on the project website, millstreetwidening.com. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know that I have questions, but I want to thank you for the excellent presentation. I think that this is an area of town that has long needed some safety improvement, so I appreciate the sort of collaborative effort between RTC and the city to really look at all the elements that connect this area and this part of town. Some of the pictures that you showed were rather heartbreaking, of course. I saw folks who were having to navigate wheelchair use without proper sidewalks. Obviously, I think there are important connectivity issues with our tribal partners, and we do try to be a good partner with the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, so I thank you for that. The slide that you put up that had some of the fatalities was also very challenging to hear about. When this project is completed, can we expect that all of the things that you've identified will be at least addressed, meaning sidewalk safety improvements, connectivity about right-ins, right-outs only, which would, I suppose, decrease the number of accidents that have happened in this area, lighting improvements, all of those things will be included in the final project?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Redwood Place, what will that become? Is that road in particular?
That is currently City of Reno property.
Okay.
Once the project is complete, then there will be an opportunity for that remainder street to be abandoned. And
Okay.
that would be something that adjacent property owners could apply for through the City of Reno.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Garcia, you got anything? Okay. All right, then, that works for me. I just need to accept the report.
So moved.
Got a
Second.
motion? Got a second? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, let's go back to 4.4.1. Approve a resolution of condemnation authorizing RTC's legal counsel to commence condemnation proceedings to acquire a fee simple interest in the entirety of APN 013-082-10, a fee simple interest portion of APN 013-082-14, in a temporary construction easement for a portion of APN 013-082-14 from ZRA Enterprises Limited, which are needed to construct a Mill Street capacity and safety project.
Mr. Chair, I can do an introduction on this item.
I thought someone was speaking to me.
That is a little bit loud.
I don't get to hear from Adam very often. Go ahead.
So property acquisition is a process. The process is mandated by state law. RTC follows the law and the process.
You need to speak in your mic a little bit more. Thank you.
RTC follows the process that's mandated by state law. We make every effort to reach agreement with property owners, but when that's not possible, this is a step in the process. There have been, as with other matters, the recommendation from legal counsel is that litigation matters not be discussed publicly by commissioners. There have been attorney-client briefings on this matter. The staff report, I think, describes the action that staff is recommending. We certainly can take a recess for any additional attorney-client communication if necessary, but otherwise my recommendation would be that the board approve a motion to approve the item as written with a second, and that the board vote in approval of this item.
Okay. Does anyone feel the need to have a attorney-client? No? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, before we make a motion, I'll say two things. One, I'm not going to speak on the legal issues, as that has been the advice of counsel, but I will say I've known Robert Sandy and Zach Allen for, I think, most of Zach's life, and this is a really great family. Worked hard. In spite of Zach's Georgia accent, I think he's mostly been raised here as a McQueen High School graduate, and a great local business. So obviously, the decision to condemn or take property is an awesome power that the government is imbued with, and I just ask that we do so respectfully.
Okay. We've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I've got a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, 7.1, monthly verbal update message from RTC Executive Director Bill Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start my comments today by acknowledging recent improvements we've done to our transit service, which are effective May 4th. One of those is our fourth Flex Ride Zone, which is now being provided in selected areas in South Meadows. One we've heard a lot of requests for, and just want to let you know it's up and running, and we'll obviously see how that service works and report back to you. Route 56 is our only fixed route in this area, so FlexLine will provide an additional transportation option for people in South Reno. The change also includes more bus bays at Meadowood Mall and an increase in frequency on Route 21 and the Virginia line. So they're all working together in terms of the improvements we're making in that area. Moving on, the U.S. Department of Transportation recently completed its certification review for RTC's planning process. It determined that our process meets federal planning requirements. It does have a handful of recommendations, pointing out some things that we were doing very well. It concluded that we're doing a good job of demonstrating consistency on projects in the program to federal goals and meeting the MPO's long-range priorities and performance targets. It also pointed out that our support of public transit to improve rapid bus service and streetscape improvements along critical ridership corridors was noteworthy. So that was a good, basically approval by the federal government, which they do every 3 years, saying we're doing it right. So I just want to make sure that the public and the board knows that that certifications come through. We're getting very close to launching our Spanish outreach campaigns for transit with the help of our consultant Celtis Ventures. They tested multiple messages and identified the ones that had the highest performance. We plan to implement those in the full campaign. Celtis is also helping us with the EdPass program campaign, which will launch very soon. As a reminder, the EdPass is a valuable resource for our college students, faculty, and staff to ride public transit free, and that outreach will help us build that program. We held our first Military Road public meeting last month at the North Valleys Community Center. We had a very good turnout of residents in the Stead and Lemon Valley area to give us input on the project. Thank you to Austin, McCoy, and Kimberly Deagle for giving great presentations on the Military Road Capacity and Safety Project. This improved roadway will be a huge benefit for people who live in the area, and we will, of course, keep the board advised as that project moves forward. We are proud to participate in the upcoming Work Zone Safety Week. The slogan of the campaign is "Respect the Cone, my family needs me home." The Associated General Contractors of Nevada will host a press conference Tuesday, May 28th at 10 a.m. on the northbound US 395 on-ramp near NDOT's widening project. Governor Joe Lombardo will speak at the event. And I also want to publicly thank Chair Lawson and Director Larkin Thomason for speaking at that event also. Safety is always our top priority, and it's every driver's duty to make sure the workers make it home safe. And they are out there doing those improvements on all of our behalf, so we ask you to be aware and drive safely around the construction projects. I would also like to thank Chair Lawson for joining us at our Spring Fling event last month. Our directors grilled burgers and hot dogs for our staff. We also designated part of the day for cleanup, so not only would you get a chance to have a good socialization around food, but we also got our offices here a little cleaner. But I want to thank everyone on the staff who participated and do appreciate all the effort that all the staff does, and I know the board does too. The RTC is partnering with Truckee Meadows Bicycle Alliance and several other agencies to support the Ride Reno Spin Sparks event tomorrow. It happens from 10 a.m. to noon at Taglia's Paradise Park. The bike ride will showcase the new bicycle and pedestrian facilities on a portion of the Otter Wells project. I wanted to specifically publicly thank Commissioner Garcia for using some of her discretionary funds for this event. On that note, today is National Bike to Work Day. RTC is providing free transit to anyone who rides their bike to the bus station starting today, but also free through Sunday. We're also holding a community event to celebrate the completion of Phase 3 of the Otter Wells project Saturday, June 1st, and I'd invite all the board members to participate if you can. It will take place at Carncinria, probably pronounced that wrong, Trace? Okay. The R's are what get me. Tres Amigos on Sutro Street from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event will include live music, raffle prizes, face painting, and discounts at local businesses. We expect to complete the entire Otter Wells project by this fall, and I would share, particularly our county members, that we had a bit of a blip on the project this past week, I think, where access to your building was either prevented or altered, and so, yes. So we appreciate your patience and understanding. That was not by design. Some miscommunication happened there, so we do our best to make sure it doesn't, but sometimes it does. I'd like the board to please join me in congratulating Omar Casildo on his promotion to full-time position. I don't know if Omar is here today?
He's here, but he's upstairs.
Busy, okay, he's working. Christian has him working now that he's full-time. He started as an accounting specialist in the finance department April 22nd. Many of you already know him because he's doing such a great job as our finance intern. Omar received his bachelor's degree in business administration with a major in finance from UNR this past fall. So we want to thank you for your work, Omar, and we look forward to your success at RTC. I have a couple of anniversaries I want to mention. First, congratulations to Hannah Yu for reaching her 5th year anniversary May 6th. I don't know if Hannah's down here or not. Christian probably has her working too.
All the accountants are.
Yeah. All the accountants are accounting, yeah. And then Jessica Dover will reach her 1 year mark on May 22nd. Jessica has been doing an excellent job for us, and particularly in the pavement management area, and is directly responsible for one of the metrics I shared with you in terms of a 53% increase in roads rehabilitated in our region. I'd like also for the board to join me in congratulating Patty McCullough as the MTM Employee of the Month for April 2024. Patty's been driving for Access for 11 and a half years. As a BTW trainer, she puts many new drivers on the road with confidence and safety mindset, and because of her skills and dedication, we know that our MTM employees who drive our FlexRide and Access vehicles are trained well to provide a safe, comfortable, and pleasant experience for our passengers. Her clients and coworkers appreciate her service, and they send in many compliments about her great work. We appreciate Patty's customer service skills and safety record. She's an integral part of what makes MTM such a great team, and MTM a great supporter and assistance in our community in providing this important paratransit service. Lionel Lopez is the Keolis Driver of the Month. Lionel is originally from Truckee, and he's worked as a bus operator for RIDE since August of 2017. He says he enjoys working as a team and interacting with his co-workers. Lionel has a 99% on-time performance, 0 preventable accidents, and no customer complaints. He enjoys spending quality time with his family, and so on behalf of the board and the RTC staff, I want to say thank you, Lionel, for your great efforts at Keolis. That concludes my report, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Paul Nelson, RTC Government Affairs.
Good morning. Paul Nelson, Government Affairs Officer for RTC. So we submitted an application for the Safe Streets and Roads for All planning grant this week. We're asking for $1.6 million. And this is really to go for our planning efforts in terms of making our road network safer for all users of the roads. We should find out if we were successful in August. The Senate and House Appropriations Subcommittees both held hearings on DOT's proposed budget for fiscal year 25. Senate topics included ensuring financial stability for public transit agencies and for passenger rail expansions. In the House, the FTA's proposal is $20 billion for projects, but only $3.4 billion is appropriated. So as projects are getting more expensive, the idea is that appropriations are going to have to increase in order to keep pace with demand. During the THUD meeting, Secretary Buttigieg talked about the importance of public transit in terms of regional economies. One of the things that he pointed out in the language of the proposed budget is that there would be some flexibility in formula and flex funds that would allow federal highway funds to transfer over to operating expenses. The Justice Department issued a final ruling on ADA rules for transit apps and websites. Transit agencies they're required to make online information accessible within 3 years to be in compliance. The RTC is in compliance, and our staff is continually doing things like webinars to improve even more. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. All right, and now NDOT report. Thomas.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. And happy to be here and happy to hear the successes along here, very much so. First, I want to start off with last week was Nevada State Employee Appreciation Week, May 6th to 10th. And basically, as all of us are, I'm extremely biased for my NDOT team and want to give a shout out to all of them. Again, from the maintenance, the payroll, designers, you name it, right-of-way people. We've got the full gamut, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. And I also want to point out and just hear that it's alongside our local public works transportation partners that really make the whole network a success. So while I'm very proud of them, I'm very proud of the partnership we have here. Next, I want to just highlight an award that we recently received for research. So this was led by NDOT, and the study analyzed the most effective ways to reduce animal vehicle collisions, improve motorist safety, and offer safer crossings for Nevada's wildlife. The road ecologists and engineers from across North America evaluate research and data to determine the most effective practices to reduce animal vehicle collisions and increase connectivity for Nevada wildlife. Basically, the goals of the study are just look at the best practices and share them. And we have several across the state, and we work very closely watching where the migration patterns are, and we have some very close along different areas right here in the state. I remember as a maintenance engineer, when patterns changed, Department of Wildlife would call and say, get ready, and on there. So anyway, very proud of the department for that award. And then last, I want to highlight, this is a problem that we are seeing statewide, or I should say predominantly in the urban areas. Up here in District 1, so in the Reno area, we've already experienced over $500,000 and rising of wire theft. In Southern Nevada, I am well over $1 million, and talking with other transportation partners, we are looking at upwards. I mean, it's really, really rising. I know Clark County had over $2.5 million thus far, and it was rising on there. So we are looking at a pilot program. It is in Southern Nevada right now where the main, the heaviest has been going on, where we are actually putting traffic cameras in the areas at 66 locations along the I-15. And then we basically tell people they're being watched. There is a backup system so that if it's noticed, they're actually called out, like basically shouted out to get away, and if that doesn't happen, then law enforcement is then dispersed out there. If it is noticed that there's more criminal activity going on, we go straight to law enforcement. It's moving on that. And I just want to really bring this up because we've had a rash of it, particularly around the Meadowood Mall area, where it's gone on and we've lost power. So the lights go out, unsafe for pedestrians, unsafe for the traveling public. It also the theft it goes on in different areas. I know I'm kind of stumbling over this. I've seen it now, though, and rampant in some areas where it's being stolen from churches. It's just being on there. I did send, in talking to some of my counterparts across the state and in Southern Nevada, they are adopting an ordinance in Southern Nevada that I just sent a copy to, and it really is to adopt prohibitions and limitations regarding the purchase of scrap metal consistent with and supplementary to the state law. And basically, it just takes a much harder, puts tighter controls on the buyers of the scrap metal so that you have to bring it up. You can't walk up with a shopping cart. There's penalties if it's over $30. And on that. So I have sent it to Bill. It is not something it's not within my jurisdiction to adopt this, but I would be happy to work with anyone on mitigating any of these. The other thing I get concerned about, and it's a real thing, is that when they take out the lighting, that can affect our dynamic message signs. It affects the ramp meters and other safety features we have. So just highlighting that one. And then last, I have a bunch of series of I should have ended with the employee recognition. I want to acknowledge the issue that we've had on Pyramid Way with the pyramid sound walls. Obviously, there is, first of all, I want to say the walls themselves are structurally sound. They were built as they were. The molding for the visual things on the outside do not line up. So what we were looking at is going back, some internal things to look at, but also we were looking at adding some metal inserts. If you're familiar, if you go along the I-80, you'll see like the trout and it might not be trout, but the fish and the birds. So we're looking at adding some metal inserts that should also minimize the visual impact and actually may enhance the overall wall altogether. So as we move farther down, I just want you to know that we have looked at it, we've acknowledged that there was an error, and that we are moving forward on how we can best mitigate it. That ends my report.
Thank you very much. And I kind of like the abstract art part of it. So who knew fish can swim upside down? Commissioner announcements and update. Do you have anything, Mr. Reese? Ms. Hill? Ms. Garcia? Yes?
Yeah, of course I do. I've been working on Red Reno Spin Spark since January, so you're probably all sick of hearing about it, but it's tomorrow from 10 to 12 at Paradise Park. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to Paul, Josh, and Maria from RTC. All your work over the past few months and the coordination, I really, really appreciate it. It turns out planning a multi-jurisdictional event is kind of challenging, and it's a lot of money too. So I wanted to give a special shout out to our chair here, Mayor Lawson, for helping us find a solution to work together on the law enforcement piece, and for Mayor Sheevy for also agreeing to do that. So it's going to be safe, it's going to be accessible, and we're really excited to kick things off tomorrow. And while it's taken a lot of work and time, after many morning announcements and assemblies, I can tell you, looking at these kids in their eyes and just seeing that they're excited, A, that they have an event that's happening in their neighborhood, B, that they're growing awareness about bike safety and learning how to access their neighborhood in a safe way. But C, it's just the little special touches. So I just wanted to show you. This shirt was designed by the students at Bernice Matthews, and I just washed it, so that's why it's wrinkly, because I got to throw it on later. But much to RTC's bus wrap, you know, when you have kids involved in these kinds of events and celebrations, it really does create those core memories for them. And I had a young lady that came up to me after the assembly, and she goes, I did the little girl that has the love behind it written on the thing. And she was so proud to see that she had been able to contribute to something like this. So it's really just been a fun project, and sorry, Vice Chair Hill, for having to hear me announce this for months now, but I'm just really excited and just wanted to celebrate the students at Bernice Matthews. Thank you.
And Sparks is sweeping the path as we speak.
Oh, awesome.
So there should be no debris on there for flat tires. Okay, I just have one thing I want to bring up is the right-of-way for the connector between La Posada and USA Parkway. I'd like to bring that back at our next meeting. We have a possibility of an angel donor that wants to pay for the engineering of this right-of-way. So I figured if somebody going to give us $3 to $5 million, we might as well help them spend it.
Yes.
So I'd like to bring that back for the entire commission to hear. Anyone else? Madam Clerk, any public comment?
No public comment.
Well, then we are adjourned. Unless